Hi everyone, welcome back to Unorthodox Cricket. Now overnight saw the start to the fifth and final Ashes test of the series. Australia won the toss and elected to bowl first. Now for me that was interesting right off the bat. The pitch looked really flat, looked pretty dry, and going in with Nathan Lyon, I would have thought that they would have liked to bowl first on that. However, that's what, who's captain now? Not Steve Smith, Tim Paine. He's such an unforgettable captain. For me, he's not a good enough batsman to be in the team, and he doesn't stand out as a captain. So it's going to be interesting to see going forward what Australia do with, forgot his name again, Tim Paine, because for me he's the worst Australian captain to ever play for them. Basically, worst wicketkeeper in a long time to play for them. Someone who hasn't scored a first-class 100 in 14 years, I believe it is, might be 12 years, but either way, scoring one first-class 100 in your whole career and then going on to represent Australia as captain, I just think he's fortunate to come in at the right time, really. But it's going to be obviously hard to drop him winning the Ashes, so we'll see what happens with Tim Paine in the future. However, England started pretty well with the bat. Rory Burns got off to a good start again, and then sort of got out. Denley, I'm not so certain about him. He nicked a couple early, wasn't taken, and then he ended up nicking off anyway for 14. So I'm not sure he's up to the standard of Test match cricket. But in saying that, England don't seem to have a lot of answers. They've tried a lot of opening combinations since Sir Alistair left the game, and they just really haven't found anything that clicked. Rory Burns has really surprised me. At the start of the series, I wrote him off. I didn't give him much of a hope of scoring runs. I didn't think he was a good player, and just based off his technique, I saw the Australians being all over him, but he's been the one shining light at the top of the order for England during this series. So hopefully he can kick on and keep doing what he's doing and really cement his spot in that English side. However, they are going to have to find him another opening partner moving forward. I don't think Denley's your option. Neither do I think Roy is your option. I see overnight Dominic Sibley as the first player of the season to bring up 1,000 first-class runs in the 4-day stuff. So he could be a potential option. Any of you English fans that know a lot about Sibley, let me know in the comments. I've seen him play a couple times. He looks pretty handy. I know he started off his first-class career pretty slowly, but over the last couple seasons, he's really understood his own game and started piling on the runs. So he is one potential option there for the English. Joe Root, yet again, got a start, 57 and out. However, he was dropped 3 or 4 times in getting there. I think he was dropped 3 times in the mid-20s. So rookie mistakes from the Aussies. Luckily, it didn't cost them too much. But Joe Root just getting out the same way he has all series, just trapped on the crease, not getting forward or back, and getting his sticks rattled. Top it off is a beautiful line to Root because he clearly just doesn't know whether to go back or forward. But that's a major flaw in his game. He's really going to have to sort that out moving forward. There must be some kind of mental block there because he's too good of a player to regularly get bowled and wrapped on the pad. So, yeah, I don't know what it is, but he's going to have to fix it if he really wants to stick out, keep up with the likes of Virat Kohli, Steve Smith and Kane Williamson. He's sort of slapping behind at the moment. His conversion rate's not great, but everyone knows how good a player he is, so I'm sure he will sort that out moving forward. Johnny Bairstow got a start again and got out. He's another guy who I think spot is highly under pressure. You've got Joss Buttler there who's scoring runs, and I personally think is a better wicketkeeper than Johnny Bairstow. So yeah, Johnny's in an interesting spot because it's weird because you see the class with Jason Roy, Joss Buttler and Johnny Bairstow at the one-day level, and you'd think that they'd be able to convert that to test level. However, none of them really have at this stage. Joss Buttler's showing in this innings that he can do it, but those other two, they're too good not to be scoring test match runs. So I think maybe it's a lack in mental clarity potentially, but something's really holding them back, and I think he'd be lucky to play the next series in all honesty. Curran looked alright with the bat again, got a chance off a no ball. Woakes didn't score any, neither did Archer. I don't think Archer's an all-rounder. To me, he doesn't really look like he can hold a bat. I know he scored 100 in a second 11 warm-up game, but that could have just been a bit of bullying on his part. But it'll be interesting to see if he can develop into an all-rounder. Initially he doesn't look like it to me, but we'll see what happens there. Really impressed by Mitchell Marsh. I know he's not very well liked, particularly in Australia. I'm not sure why. He is a guy, when I first saw him on the international scene, I thought Australia really needed to stick with, persist with, just give him that time and develop a genuine all-rounder, because there's not a lot going around in world cricket. You've got Ben Stokes, Shakib Al Hassan, but there's not a lot of genuine all-rounders who can both bat and bowl. And I've always thought that Mitchell Marsh's weak point was his bowling, but as we saw last night, he was just incredible. He was the only one to really swing the ball. He swung the ball late, he even got a little bit of reverse there, and he troubled the English bowlers. Picked up 4 for 35, he was the tightest of the bowlers, and he took the most wickets. Cummins, Hazelwood and Siddle were all a bit over the show. They were expensive for their likes, going at over 3.5s. But yeah, Mitchell Marsh really stood out, and I really hope that the Australians give him more of a chance and just build him as that genuine all-rounder. Yeah, as I say, I thought since I saw him, he had that potential. But yeah, I'm not going to say that I've claimed to know everyone ever. Going into the series, I wrote off Marnus Labuschagne, and he's proved me absolutely wrong, as has Burns. But Mitchell Marsh is one that I've had my eye on for a while, and I've really hoped Australia would give him a chance, and it's time they really do. I personally think he'll score some runs as well. It's going to be interesting adding another right-hander to the mix for the Australians, so I'm really excited to see how he goes. But Joss Buttler, he's going to have to keep teeing off. I'm surprised he didn't do this in the last test, actually, when he was batting with Leach. He batted within himself, but the time is now for him to keep teeing off. Hopefully he can push on for 100. He's hitting the ball so cleanly. And then the English bowlers are going to have to come out and bowl their hearts out. Arch is going to have to turn things on, and Broad's going to have to pick up Warner again, and I really hope he does send Warner off again early, because I really dislike the guy, as much as he's a good cricketer. And same issue with Steve Smith. I don't like the guy, but I love to see him back, because Jesus, he can play some cricket. I think both teams' balances are a lot better in this game. Leaving out Roy for Curran is a lot better mix. Obviously it makes the batting a little bit weaker, but I think replacing Roy and who was the other guy that missed out? There's someone. But bringing in Curran and Wokes really strengthens that batting. They're both pretty decent all-rounders. You can see that they've got the potential to score some runs there. And Roy wasn't scoring runs anyway, so it's a lot stronger bowling unit for the English. And same with the Australians, leaving out Head for Marsh. Obviously Marsh dominated with the ball, and Head wasn't doing too much with the bat, so I'm sure Marsh will equal him with the bat anyway. So the state of the match, obviously I'd say England are slightly behind. However, they do get the opportunity to bowl last, so that could be the turning point. As long as they can negate Nathan Lyon in their third innings, and Leach can do something in the fourth, it's going to be really interesting. Real shame that Ben Stokes can't bowl in this game. However, it wouldn't surprise me if England needed him in that fourth innings, that he would pull the jumper off and start steaming in. So that's about all for the fifth test there. In other world cricket, there's obviously the Caribbean Premier League going on. Not a lot to talk about there. Chris Gayle scored another 100 the other day. There's just not enough superlatives to describe the man. No one even comes close to his 2020 record. Just his ability to score hundreds time and time again. Age clearly isn't a factor, and I really don't want him to retire. Hopefully he just keeps playing. I get the feeling he may have the idea of 1,000 2026s on his mind. I think he's sitting at about 950 at the moment, so I dare say, just a hunch, a weird hunch from me, but knowing Chris Gayle, I feel like 1,000 2026s could be the milestone he's looking for. However, if he's still scoring runs and enjoying it, play till you're 45, play till you're 50, I don't care. I just want to see you score runs and hit massive sixes. So, yeah. And other news, I can't pronounce his name, Shubman Gill? Someone correct me on that. has just got his first test match call up for India, so that's exciting. Good to see a young guy given a chance. So he's placing KL Rahul at the top, who he's shown potential in the past. He's made a few scores, but he just hasn't really kicked on, so it's a real shame from him. It would be really exciting if we could see Gill and Prithvi Shaw at the top of the order for India. I mean, they're both young guys, they've both shown that they can do it. If you could have them at the top of the order for the next 12 years, imagine the partnerships they could form and just the platforms they could give India going forward. And then when you've got Kohli there as well, Pujara, Rahane, that is a pretty dominant batting attack. So really interesting to see how he goes. And yeah, hopefully Prithvi Shaw lays off the drugs and gets back into the mix soon. That's all for today, guys. Really appreciate your support. Obviously, as you can tell, this weather's not great. It started raining here yet again. But over the next month, I've got some pretty exciting content planned, so stay tuned. And really just, as always, I appreciate you guys' support so much. It does mean a lot to me. If you guys haven't commented before, leave me a comment. Just any sort of thoughts around cricket, I'd be interested to know. But yeah, thanks again for watching, guys. Yeah, have a great day, and I'll see you again soon.